Game 1 against Wofford. If I'm not mistaken, did we not play Wofford in the regular season?
We did not
We
play
did not.
Wofford in the
Okay.
regular.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking.
We did play Montana, who is a tournament team.
Okay, maybe that's who I was thinking of.
Yes.
But this was this game right here. I felt like it was never in doubt that Tennessee was going to win this game, but Tennessee never really pulled away in this game like I kind of thought they would. What were your opening thoughts
Well,
going
opening
into this
thoughts were
game?
defense was exactly what you expected in the first half, and then kind of got a little, not lazy, but just like you said, kind of didn't really didn't really pull away. And you got to credit that to Walford. Obviously, in the second half, they could probably sense that their season was coming to an end. So you're probably getting a whole lot of extra effort that you probably wouldn't have otherwise. A little bit of desperation type effort from Walford, but overall, man, it was a good game. Chaz Lanier popped off 29 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. As a fan watching it, I was proud of the team just kind of getting the one out of the way. I would have loved to have seen a 20+ point victory in the first round because that's kind of what you expect in the 2-15 matchup. But in this case, you got to credit Walford. Even with the defense and the high level defense that Tennessee was playing, they still shot a decent percentage from the field. We just kind of harassed them defensively and kept their field goals to a minimum. I mean, they only got 55 shots in the game. Tennessee, on the other hand, only had 54, but there was a lot of fouls. As you can see, their free throws, they got to the line 22 times to Wofford's 9. So a lot of things to like about this game. I really just kind of took this game as a momentum builder. I mean, I think everybody going into this game didn't really have a doubt, but it was just kind of like how do you look, how do you feel, and what can we do to kind of build up for the round of 32?
Yeah, absolutely. And, a funny kind of side story to this game right here. So, um, after the game was over, I sent a text to my boss, and I said, "Man, and I think I sent it to you as well. I said, man, you can't trust Tennessee to cover a spread. I mean, the spread was 18 and a half in this game, and it was at 18 with about 30 seconds to go, and Wofford hits a 3-pointer to make it 15. He sends me a text right after and says, I got it at 15 and a half. I'm not going to say exactly what the text said because it's kind of colorful, but he said basically that 3-pointer just screwed me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, welcome to the season because that's been happening to me all year long.
Yeah, but
Um,
well, you
but not
mentioned it. A huge night from Chaz Lanier, shooting 50% from the field, 29 points, 6 of 13 from the 3-point line. He was just having a day. And then Zakai Ziegler, man, 12 points, 12 assists, a double-double in this contest. And was it this contest right here where he broke? Yes, it was. He broke the singles, or no, it was the career assist record at Tennessee.
yep.
And just awesome to see after the game. I forget what the guy's name is, but the guy that did hold the record beforehand was at this game and met Zakai outside the locker room and just gave him a big hug. They got a picture together. Awesome to see after that game.
Oh yeah, 2 games, 2 records broken, and the ladies' 1 game was a record broken. So it's kind of cool to see what Tennessee's doing. It's maybe not the flashiest on ESPN if you're watching, Sports Center, but they're getting the job done and doing it in a way that Knoxville hasn't seen in quite some time. I mean, we talk about Zakai Ziegler and the assists for the career. Kind of blew that out of the water. He's going to at least blow that out of the water. We talk about Chaz Lanier, single season 3-point shots made. We'll talk about that in the next game where he broke that record. And then the ladies in a single game in March Madness tournament, the most threes, I believe, in Tennessee history, or maybe NCAA. I don't even know.
NCAA
Yeah,
history. Yeah.
NCAA history. That's insane. So, yeah, a lot of good things to talk about here. But again, I was just taking this as a momentum builder. I love the defensive play for the most part. I do feel like we got a little sloppy there in the second half. But, man, we were talking like, I think maybe 7 minutes to go in the ball game. Wofford only had like 42 points or something like that. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty much on lock. We gave up a lot there in the final, stretch or final quarter, if you want to call it that. But overall, man, I think that was just kind of like I said earlier, Wofford's, they knew that their season was coming to an end. They were probably going a little bit harder than they've been going the entire year, because they knew that was their final minutes, especially for their seniors. But overall, man, really proud of the boys. So many times there's so much hype on these teams and they flunk out in the first round.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be, not part of that statistics. But backflip spaghetti, man, it's been a while. We appreciate you tuning back in. Howdy, y'all. Who do you want, Kentucky or Illinois? I want Kentucky. I'm the same, man. I want Kentucky. My FanDuel supports that. My bracket supports that. I'm all down for Kentucky. In my opinion, to give me the peace of mind to know that we can go as far as I want to go, you got to show me we can beat the team that's beat us twice. So I'm all down to have Kentucky.
You know what? I agree with that part right there. I would love to play them and beat them this time into one that matters, but I do not want to play them.
Scared.
I don't care. I
Scared.
don't care what anybody
Illinois
says.
was a buzzer beater. You're acting like we handled Illinois. Like it's.
But really, we did most of that game. Now, did we ever pull away? No. But
Well, that's not Tennessee's mantra. So
I mean, until the end, I did not feel like it was a game that Tennessee was going to lose. Now, obviously, when it was tied up there and the Jordan Gainey had to go down and get that game-winning layup,
right.
I was a little bit uncomfortable then. But I felt confident if it did go to overtime, Tennessee could win it. Kentucky, it's something about Kentucky this year that, they've shot 50% from the three-point line 2 times this year.
There's no way that happens again. There's no way.
I agree with you, but the fact that it could happen again has me terrified. I would much rather go through Illinois, which is probably an easier path than Kentucky. I want the easiest path possible for Tennessee to get to the Final Four and possibly the national championship. Because as far as my bracket went today, I was rooting for Florida because I've got Florida winning it all. But I was hoping UConn was going to win that game. I feel like Tennessee, if it came down to a UConn versus Tennessee matchup in the national championship, now that's way down the road. But if it came down to that, I feel better about Tennessee playing UConn than Florida. So I want the easiest path possible, and I think Illinois is that.
I tried for the most part. Now, some of it I failed, but for the most part, especially in the later rounds of March Madness, like the Sweet 16, Elite 8, what I want to happen is not going to reflect my bracket because my bracket's I'm trying to do the best or whatever. But I wanted Auburn to lose.
Absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't matter at that point. But yeah, I thought UConn would be the best bet, dude. And that was a tough out for Florida. They had a couple of critical shots by Clayton Jr. there in the final minutes to pull away. But backflip, what's the score? If you don't mind updating us for the Kentucky-Illinois game.
I've got it right here. It's on my phone. 30-23, Kentucky's up with 2.5 left in the first half.
That sounds about right. So it sounds like, look, I think if we ever got to that point, if Kentucky does win and we face them this week, I think Rick Barnes is going to better defensively plan for Kentucky's 3-point game. And then if we lose, it's because they're getting inside the paint. They're getting rebounds and stuff like that. They may be getting turnovers. They're kind of they're not a great defensive team, but they do force a little bit of turnovers, especially early on in the Illinois game. I watched the first 10 minutes of the game and they got 3 turnovers to start the game. So, I don't know. That's me, but that's down the road. I think Friday maybe. So we got to talk about it a little bit now.
It'll be Friday
because we won't get to talk about it obviously before the game. So